Braeden, welcome to the cave.
Hi, Elias. Thanks for having me.
Exciting times for you, my friend. New show, Disney Plus, The Quest, May 11th. How do you
Yeah,
feel about all this?
I'm really, really excited. I mean, everyone is kind of finding out about it now, but I think I initially auditioned for this show in like August of 2020.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been a long journey to get to here where it's finally coming out and people are about to see it.
That's awesome. Before we jump into that too, I was trying to do some research on you. I want to know what made you get into the industry, storytelling, performing, there isn't that much out there about you.
Yeah. I'm relatively green as of right now. I kind of started just when I was a kid. I remember I would watch like daytime television with my mom, like 6 or 7 years old, and I remember seeing kids that were my age on those TV shows and just thinking it was like the coolest thing ever. And I think that's kind of what gave me the bug initially, and then I got to like middle school and I was able to audition for little school plays and did that. And then got to high school, did more and more and more. And then I was probably like 16 or 17 and I was like, I'm just going to try to do it professionally on my own, submit
Wow.
myself to whatever I can find. And I did that and I still do that. And from there, you just kind of book what you book and hopefully it gets better. And I was lucky enough to have the opportunity for something like The Quest to be placed in front of me, and I auditioned, and they seemed to like me. Yeah, and so I shot that, and I really love the craft of acting. I think it's something that really doesn't feel like a job at all to me, and I'm very blessed to be able to
That's
do
awesome.
it. And yeah, I think 7-year-old me watching Desperate Housewives would be very proud now.
Who were growing up and everything? Who were like some of the people that you looked up to in the industry, where you kind of like not like model yourself, but kind of like, hey, I enjoy this person's work. I want to keep watching their stuff and learn from the craft.
Yeah, I think surprisingly enough, even from like a young age, I really, really enjoyed Jason Bateman stuff.
Okay.
And, like I remember watching, like Horrible Bosses when I was a teenager and just thinking he was really funny. And I've just always liked his delivery and how he delivers his lines. And then like now, like he's in stuff like Ozark that I just adore, and I love seeing his, how he can go from being this comedic presence on screen to this super dramatic, serious person. I think it shows a lot of talent and range from him. And I think as an actor, always he's been kind of my guy I want to aspire to be. And then like the classics, like Johnny Depp and Leo, all those kind of people. I really appreciate all their work. But yeah, I have a lot of different inspirations, but I think out of anybody, weirdly, even since I was young, I really like Jason Bateman.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you finish the last part of Ozark? So I'm still in it. I haven't finished it yet.
I actually, before this podcast, I like got ready and everything, but right before I just maybe 10 minutes into the final episode of the whole series.
Wow.
And I was like, no, I don't want to rush, to get ready. So I'll have a great time here on this podcast and then sit down and finish that episode.
That's awesome. I'm 2 episodes in the last part, and I want to take my time with it. I'm trying to avoid spoilers and everything because it's like after that we're not getting any more.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows. I love it.
So The Quest, how did you get involved with it? How were you approached for the series? And it's an interesting way about The Quest.
Yeah. So initially, because it's Disney and they're very secretive, I actually auditioned for this. I have representation and people that send me out on auditions, but I found this on my own initially. It was on Actors Access, which for people who don't know, it's like a casting call website where people will post their casting calls, and as an actor you can submit and get an audition and audition that way. And I saw one that was called Untitled Adventure Show, undisclosed streaming service. That was all the information it had. And initially I didn't even submit myself for it. It called for a British dialect, and I had never done a British dialect, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother with it, whatever. And then the next day I remember thinking about it and being like, no, I want to audition for anything that I can. I'll at least give it a shot, So I submitted myself, and they seemed to like my look and asked me to audition. And yeah, I found out later they gave me like dummy sides for the first two auditions. They weren't had nothing to do with the show at all. And I went through, a couple rounds of auditioning, and then they wanted to see me on Zoom, and so we did some live stuff. And then at one point, he kind of sprung it on me that he was like, "There's a lot of improv in this, so we want to do an audition where it's just you and me improvising. That's the whole thing. I'm just gonna throw stuff at you." Which was
Wow.
very nerve-wracking as an actor who, like, I remember in high school, I even refused to take an improv class. So I was like, I just don't, it's terrifying. But yeah, I did it, and I guess it went well. And I remember I was woken up by a call from my manager, kind of being like, "Hey, I just got an offer for you for a Disney Plus series. What's that all about?" And it was kind of a shock to me that it was, it had been Untitled Adventure Show. I had no idea what it was. And then from there, it was just real fast.
Mm,
I had a meeting with the producers, Mark Wardesky and Jane Fleming, the executive producers, and they kind of went over things. And it's a very interesting show, and they describe it as hybrid reality, which kind of means they're trying to intertwine, a scripted regular storyline with like real people who aren't actors.
yeah.
And at first, as an actor, whenever someone was like, this is a hybrid reality show, you hear reality and it's kind of like a red flag. Like, I don't want to be a part of a dramatic reality show.
Yeah.
But they were very, very calming, and they were like, this is something that's never been done before, and you're great for it, and we'd love to have you. And it was just very, they were very, very welcoming into this new
Mm.
idea, and wanted to really collaborate with me on it, on my character and how the show works. And it was really, really great from them. And then a couple months later, I flew out to Northern California. I lived in Texas at the time.
Okay.
And we spent about 2 months in a castle in Calistoga, California, shooting this whirlwind of a series. And that was, I think we wrapped in March of 2021. So it's been, we've been waiting for a little over a year now.
Right.
Because it truly is, I think, something that people have not seen before. And I think it's even hard, in the promotional material to convey the kind of show that it is, because as someone who was a part of it and even seeing the scripts we got, I've never seen scripts structured the way that scripts are structured in this. I've never, when I went in to do some ADR and just got to see a little bit of it, I had never seen anything like this. It truly is a new form of storytelling that I think Disney Plus is really smart and happy to be getting behind and being a part of.
Actually, my next question was going to be like, so like, how do you prepare to play a role that's, improv slash you do have a script also to get ready for?
Yeah. So it was definitely a challenge. I've used this analogy in a couple interviews that and just talking to people that, like, if acting, like the art of acting itself is like a swimming pool, this feels like I was just thrown into the deep end. Like
Wow.
again, like I mentioned earlier, for someone who was not particularly fond of improv, being told your first big series where you're going to be seen by millions of people is going to consist of you improvising your lines for a good portion of it. I was terrified, as well as, most of the people on this series, because, everyone on this series, they really wanted to push, bringing new talent into the forefront of this series. So everyone's pretty green that took part in this. So I remember talking to a couple of my castmates before we started rehearsing and shooting, and just being like, I am scared. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm terrified about how this is going to go, because there's no frame of reference. So all we could really do is memorize the lines we did have. The script would kind of be broken up into, like, you'd have full scenes, and there are some scenes that don't even involve actually a good probably half the show doesn't involve the reality aspect of the teenagers that are in the show. It's just fully a scripted narrative, telling the story that's going on. So those, that's a regular series. It was shot like a regular series. We brought in a director that shoots narrative stuff, and it was very normal, and I was used to that. But then for the other portions, we would meet up in a little courtyard at our hotel, and we would have some story producers come and pretend they were the kids, the teenagers, and we would just go through every single scenario that there could, any question they could possibly ask, any way they could respond to anything, to try to prepare us for how to improvise and do that. And we did that for a few weeks beforehand, and it did help a lot. But even so, when you're on set and it's really the real thing, it's a pump of adrenaline that you, when you realize you got one shot at this, and you have no idea what people are going to say. And even though we tried to go through every scenario for each thing, and every scene that we did, someone said something we could have never expected them to say.
Of course.
Yeah. But the good thing about that is, because it was so unexpected, when you watch the show, you'll see these scenes with the Paladins, as they're called in the show, and they're probably going to be between 3 to 5, 6 minutes long, those scenes. Each one of those scenes we probably shot for a good 45 minutes, just trying to get as much material as we could to really make sure we got what we wanted. And as actors, we were on top of it for the most part, but there were times where we just we got speechless and we didn't really know what to say if they threw a curveball at us. Like I remember at one time, I don't even know if it's gonna make the show or not, but there was one point where we're in this medieval fantasy world, and one of the Paladins brought up K-pop, and it kind of stunned us, in character, sitting on a throne talking to these people in medieval gear, having someone throw BTS at us and us having to respond. It was quite interesting. But I think throughout the whole series, it was a challenge to get used to. But I think we prepared as much as you can. But at the end of the day, you don't know what these people are going to say, and you just kind of have to have your chops ready to deal with whatever is thrown at you.
How does it work with like if you film like a regular show and everything, like say like there's a line that's messed up or everything, or the director doesn't like it and he says cut, let's do it again. This one, now you got a little bit of both, so now you got improv and reality. Exactly. Was there a part anywhere where, like you said, like a line was mentioned, did anybody freeze at one point? Like, is there a way, did they have to stop that, or you guys keep rolling?
So you keep rolling the whole time. Yeah, like when we did like I said, the scripted regular stuff without the Paladins, it was very much a regular film set. We do multiple takes of each scene. We get coverage. And even with the improvised stuff, beforehand when we would go shoot, because they really wanted to make a point of making this look like a scripted series. I'm sorry, there's a style. I don't know if you can hear it. But they really wanted to make a point of making it look like a scripted series. And these are the people that worked on Lord of the Rings.
I saw that.
They wanted to make this series look like Lord of the Rings. And that's part of why it's something that I've never seen done before, is you never see anything with, even a semblance of reality attached to it, shot cinematically. I mean, this show does not look like a reality show at all. It looks like Lord of the Rings. And so with that, we would go in before we did these improvised scenes, and they would get coverage of all the actors doing, some different responses that would hopefully fit in. But when the kids came in and the camera started rolling, you just had to go with it. And there was a couple times where I don't really remember any of the actors freezing up, but I do remember a couple of things malfunctioning, and like there's a few challenges in the show, part of the storytelling where the kids are having to accomplish some task. And I remember specifically one that I do in episode 3 has to do with creating a potion, and they're having to find these ingredients to help me make this potion. And when it just didn't work right the first time, so we kind of had to improvise a way around it in the moment, and try a bunch of different things, and hope that it works out. And I've checked with the executive producers about it, because I was worried. And they said they were able to cut it together perfectly. It looks fine. But in those instances, you just kind of got to go with it and hope you can figure out something. And again, that's kind of why we get so much footage. So if you need to and someone does freeze up, you can just cut that part out.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for the most part, we just rolled the entire time.
That's awesome. What did you love about Prince Emmett?
I loved Prince Emmett because I feel like he was pretty similar to me in that he's more of an observer. I have two siblings. I have Prince Cedric and Princess Adeline, and Prince Cedric is kind of the bull-headed, brawny, obvious heir to the throne, sword tough guy. And then my sister Princess Adeline is kind of the very confident and strategic planner of everything, where I was kind of the bookworm, who would sit back and observe and only speak when I really felt necessary. And I kind of really related to that. I'm not a super outspoken person when I don't need to be. I prefer to kind of take things in and get a gauge on a situation first. And he's just kind of sarcastic as well. He, doesn't, when he does speak, he makes sure that it's something that packs a punch, and he'll get you where it hurts. And I found that very fun to play with, especially the repertoire between me and my siblings, because I have siblings, and it was very fun to be able to kind of portray that sarcastic bitterness towards each other, just as family on screen. I love the character, just as a whole. I really feel like he's a part of me because he is so similar to me.
When the viewers tune in for the first time, what are you hoping they get out of this when they first start watching it?
I hope that the viewers, when they turn on the first episode, I honestly hope that they are expecting either a fully just full-fledged reality show or a full-fledged scripted show.
Okay.
I want people to come in and have their expectations completely just shattered by this show, because it is so groundbreaking and different. And I think that you're gonna hear a lot of buzz just about the format of the show. Just people, being amazed at how it had, no one's really done this before, and how well it was pulled off. And I think you don't have to be a fan of fantasy or reality or fantasy drama or anything like that. It's an intriguing way to make a television series that I think a lot of people want to tune in to, just to see how it's pulled off. And so I think I just want people's expectations of how a TV show can be structured to be shattered. I think I want people to be blown away.
That's awesome. How many episodes is the series?
It's 8 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are they planning to do the same thing as every other Disney weekly?
I believe with this one, they want to drop it all at once.
Okay.
People binge it. They're real excited about it. I think it's 8 episodes. They're about an hour in length each. Okay. So it's 8 hours of content for people to take in.
That's awesome. So Disney Plus, May 11th.
Yes.
Looking forward to it. Now, what's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about that you're going to work on?
Yes. I actually, right now, I'm in a hotel room in Vancouver. And I am shooting a TV show called Cruel Summer. It was on Freeform and Hulu about a year ago, and I'm really excited to be out here doing that. It's an incredible series. It got great reception the first season, and the same people are coming back, the same executive producers, and we are all very excited to get to work. I've shot a couple days on it, and it is awesome. Just interesting and unique show that I think people are really going to enjoy a second season of.
That's awesome. So yeah, it looks great, man. Like, it looks like you got the quest, now you're working on this, like you're going up.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope so. I'm just taking what I can get.
Right. Braeden, lastly, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on really any of my social medias: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Even I don't post much, but I'm there at Braeden, Braeden, DL Garza. So Braeden De La Garza, you can find me. And yeah, I'll be posting a lot about the quest as it's coming out. Cruel Summer as I'm working on it, as much as I can. And anything else I'm doing. So I'd love if people came and listened to me talk about what's going on.
That's awesome. Brilliant. Thank you for giving me a few minutes today, and thank you for coming on.
Definitely. Thank you.